Dan, how's your week going? How are you doing?
I am doing great, and my week is going good. However, it's getting a little darker a little sooner. The
Yeah.
days are shorter.
I was going to say, well, it's only Monday because my week's going terrible and it's only Monday. So I have, but you did point out about how dark it's getting around here.
Yeah,
The time has changed.
right.
How do you feel about that, Dan?
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
The thing I
Well, you sit at your computer all day, so it doesn't matter what the light is outside.
right, and the thing I find funny is everyone's complaining about how we should end daylight savings, and that's exactly what happened this past weekend. We ended it.
People are complaining and they don't know what they're complaining about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of your Monday, what are you complaining about?
Well, I am not complaining about daylight savings time. Do you know how, like, when you get into your truck, well, in your case, when you get into your Prius. So when I get into my truck, I put my key in the ignition and you like turn it, and then like all of the lights on your dashboard come on, and then you start it. And then when it's running, all of the lights on the dashboard go off.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that did not happen for me today. My check engine light is on my truck. What mechanics commonly refer to as the money light has come on. And what a way to start a Monday. And, I've been having trouble with my truck. It just doesn't run right. There's just something wrong with it. And now the check engine light has come on. And so now it's starting a whole new process of chasing parts and hoping that it runs better.
Yeah, those eventually just go out, though, don't they? Those lights. You
Yeah.
just keep driving.
Yeah. When you spend a lot of money, they'll go out. And that's where I am. So there's something about vehicles that don't make sense to me. And I just scratch my head at a lot of this stuff. So all of these modern vehicles are all computer controlled, and they will tell you when there's something wrong with them. But but they won't tell you what it is. You have to take it to, in my case, the Ford dealer, or if you have the knowledge and the ability, you can take it to like AutoZone or Pep Boys, and sometimes they'll scan it for free out in the parking lot and tell you what's wrong with it. My point is, we can put robots on Mars, but why can't the car just tell you what it is?
Yeah. Right
It
there
tells
on the
you.
dash.
It's like, Dan, dealing with your wife. You know that there's a problem, but she won't tell you what it is. And
Yeah.
and your truck is the same way. It's the lights on. There's a problem, Joe. Okay, well, what is it, truck? I'm not telling you.
Same
Yeah.
solution. I ignore both, and the problem goes away.
Yeah, well, my problem is not going away. The truck just doesn't run right, and now it bucks. It's gotten worse, and that's the lights on. And I went and had the codes scanned on it, and there were 3 of them. And sometimes one code makes the others come on, but in my case, I don't know if it matters because they're all expensive.
Yeah, because
Can you?
can't you get one of those scanners yourself and just plug it in and because I think my brother had one of those one time, and like I had the solution for my check engine light was I had to take the gas cap off my tank and put it back on. There was like something
Uh-huh.
weird, like just something simple and easy.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was that simple. In my case, it is not. Yes, there is, but my point is, you can take it to like AutoZone, Advance, O'Reilly's, and they'll do it for free. So that's what I did this morning. I went to the O'Reilly's in town, and I got the expensive code. Can you lend me $700? I'll
Well,
gladly pay you Tuesday for a $700 today.
Did you see the code? Do you know for sure? Then maybe it's only a $200
Yeah.
code, but they're telling you seven.
No, I took a picture of it with my phone, so I know what it is. And then I go right to Google, go right to YouTube, and there's this one YouTube channel. He's big, man, and he's a Ford mechanic, and he has saved me thousands of dollars over the years because every problem with any Ford, he does them, and he does videos, and his videos are excellent. Because
Oh,
there's a lot of videos on how to like repair something on your car, and then it's just some guy, and you watch a camera of his back, for the entire video. They're not very they're not very descriptive, but this guy, wow,
wow.
he is major league. He used to be a Ford mechanic, and he was filming all of his repairs, and then the dealer fired him for doing it.
Oh
So
no.
he has started his own shop, but he's doing very good for himself. I like him a lot. There's only one thing though about him that annoys me. We had talked about like YouTube channels that get these verbal tics, that they'll like say or they'll keep saying the same word over and over, or they'll do this. So here's what I want to do, or they'll go. Yesterday, I went up, um, or they'll go. I was splitting wood yesterday, and I catch myself doing that sometimes, and I edit all of those out of my videos. Yeah, but this guy, this guy, he uses the word actual about 1,000 times every video. He'll say, so you take the actual starter and you will put it on the, or you need to drain the actual radiator and put on the actual spark plugs. He uses the word actual about 1,000 times.
Uh,
And after you start hearing it, I'd start stubbing my mental toe
well,
on
I
that.
was I was gonna suggest to you, if you can't Google something you don't know, that you should like maybe go online to like some online forums and maybe post questions, or you can go read through. Maybe somebody else had the same problem, and you might get some insight and information that way.
Yeah, you think? Have you ever done anything like that before?
I have never posted, but I sure enjoy reading through some of the forums out there.
It's like fireworks. If you're having a really bad day and you just want to make it worse, go online and post, my truck's broke down. What does this code mean?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a lot. Yeah, people out there. I mean, there's always the good guy out there that'll help you out. But I see, like, firewood. There's those channels, or what are they called? User
groups.
groups
Yep.
on Facebook. Oh
Yeah. Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
I'm in them, but I do not contribute. I just I just lurk, and I find a lot of it depressing. I find a lot of it depressing,
Oh yeah,
though.
it's amazing. I'm the same way. I'm a member of multiple groups with firewood, and you'd be surprised at how many different groups there are. But I'm the same way. I kind of just lurk back. I'll see a post by someone, and every now and then I'll like give a reply or give an answer to their question. But for the most part, I just avoid getting into it.
Yeah, I was thinking I when I was doing research when I was going to take the plunge full time, probably one of the best things I did was to not ask the question on what I should do to one of those user groups, because man, there's like these guys they're pretty harsh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. There was one I saw. It was a teenager was looking to start a firewood business, and then it went downhill from there. You know,
Yeah,
people
it's
they put that no one really said, wow, that's great that you got this initiative. Good luck with you. Just get it going. It was, where are you going to get your wood? How are you going to afford all your saws? What are you going to do about insurance?
yes.
What are you going to do when you get sued?
You're not
How
gonna
are
make any
you?
money.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, this kid here will never get started.
Yeah, it's crazy because I look at both sides of it. sometimes I look at like, why do you even ask this question? Number one. But then the other side of it is, how do you respond the way you are? Like, I mean, sometimes, yes, things can be taken out of context just because it's written words and you don't understand if it's kind of sarcastic. But man, some people are just jerks, just
Yeah,
downright jerks.
yeah. I wonder why I have a theory. It's not just on like this, but I think it applies to like road rage, um, or the way people act. Keyboard warriors.
Yes.
I think that there is an inverse relationship between the probability of being immediately punched in the nose and how big of a jerk one can be on a reply. And that's why I think people road rage, because the chances of getting your lights punched out are very low. But because like you never, if you're a deer hunter, there's never been like road rage in the woods.
No,
you know
no, yeah.
everyone's best friends out in the woods. But road rage, or in this case the way people treat others through the internet is interesting to me.
Well, interesting is a fun word. Yes, it definitely is. It's and like I said, I mean, sometimes I can understand people wanting advice or like I always see the post like, "Hey, what is a cord of wood selling for in your area?" When you could easily just do the research yourself and find out what it is selling for in your area. Like
Uh-huh.
there's no need to ask some things like that. And then on the other side, though, there's no need to like shred someone, and just tear them down for asking a question.
Well, that's funny. I think one of the funniest replies that I see a lot, I see people will ask questions, for instance, on automotive. What is a good way to put a exhaust manifold on a F-150? And then someone's first reply is always, you should do an internet search. And I find those hilarious because, wow, I don't know if that person ever thought of doing that.
Yeah,
Gee
yeah,
whiz, I never thought about doing an internet search. In here, I thought this was a social group and I would engage in human interaction. I don't know.
right. Yeah, it's funny that way. And like back to like I think you shared with me that post from that teenager looking to start a business. And he had like legit questions and he was probably just looking for information, but then to your point, like if he took all of those responses and replies seriously, I guarantee you he's not doing firewood right now. There
Yeah,
was no
I guarantee
encouragement,
you.
no um, you know, like
Yeah.
congratulations on being motivated to do it. Nothing.
Yeah, there were a few, but the majority of the replies were people what ifing it to death.
Yep.
You know, what if the Martians come and steal your log splitter? Now what are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. Have you
Yeah,
thought of
I
that?
had dealt with that personally. Whenever you want to start something, you ask a buddy, you ask a family member, and the most part, I had encouragement. But there were a few people out there that were kind of, um, I don't know what the right word is. They just shot it down, or that's just the way they are. They were like, "Well, where are you gonna get all your wood?"
Yep.
Yeah, it's maybe it's how they asked it instead. It wasn't like, wow, that sounds like a great challenge. Have you thought about where you're going to find your wood? you know, it's like, where are you going to get your wood? Where are you going to do all this at? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when it rains?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, you get that kind of stuff. And then
Yep.
that was that young boy. He was a teenager, and um, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could have replied, but I didn't. I just stayed out of it. But I would have just said, "Why don't you just start and just see where it takes you?" I don't know.
Yeah. You don't know unless you try. You'll never find out. And
Yeah, I think that is probably the best advice that you can give someone. And I do. I get calls a lot. People asking, they're thinking of starting a business, or they're thinking of starting a firewood business, and they'll ask me specifics. What kind of splitter do you think I should use? I just sell them. I was like, it doesn't matter. The most important thing for you to do is get started and don't stop. Just go get a splitter and get started.
Yep. Get started and
Yeah,
figure it out on the way.
yeah, yeah. People, I think a lot of people that are asking questions, though, I think what they're really looking for is an excuse to not get started because it's scary, and maybe people are looking to get talked out of things. I don't know, but I don't talk people out of it
Exactly.
when they call me. I tell them get going. The best time to have started this was yesterday. Let's go. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree that I think a lot of people are looking for that reason not to do it. And
I think so.
if they really wanted to do it, they would be doing it.
And you hear the refrain too. Well, when I get everything, when I get all my ducks in a row, when I have everything perfect, I'll get started. And I just think that's silly. That's just an excuse to not get started because it'll never be perfect, and you're going
Right.
to change everything anyways. So just get started and go, man.
Yeah, I'm on year what 4 now, and I don't even know where my ducks are. They're scattered around somewhere, but they're nowhere near in a row.
Yeah, you don't have ducks, you have deer in your wood yard, huh?
Right.
I
But
have
I do have the advantage being a hobbyist of not needing to worry so much about all the, specifics and figuring it all out right away.
Yeah, I had said that the difference between a being a hobbyist and being in business. What was that noise? The difference is if you're in business, everything you do has got to make sense to the customer. If you are a hobbyist, it is everything that has to make sense to you. So I don't know. Maybe that's where people. I would like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but a lot of these guys on these user groups and stuff, they just sound like they're mean spirited. But I was just saying, well, maybe that's where they're coming from. They
Yeah.
I don't know, but there was another one. It was a Facebook user group. There's a number of them. I couldn't tell you which one it was though. It was a guy. He made a bunch of bundles, and he's proud of what he did. He took a picture and he was saying how much he sells it for. And this guy's like, "Well, you're a ripoff."
Oh, I love this. I love the theme.
Yeah, and gosh, when I think that the firewood industry is turning a corner, then here we go.
Yep.
You're a ripoff.
Right. So here's a poll for you and the listeners out there. The Woodhounds listening right now. Send us an email with the answer to this question. What is a bigger ripoff? Selling a 1 cubic foot bundle of firewood for $8 or splitting right into a truck and selling green firewood to a customer?
Yeah, and not showing up when you were supposed to.
And not telling them that it's green. Splitting
Right.
and selling under the assumption it's seasoned. What is a bigger ripoff if you were to really break it down? Because to me,
Yeah.
even this ash, everyone loves ash, but I've split ash that has been in log form for 6 to 8 months, and it's still 35% moisture. So it's not ready to burn. And to
Yeah, I
me,
agree.
that's a bigger ripoff.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we've done a previous episode on something similar to this,
Yeah.
but I mean, this could be its own entire episode about especially bundles. And that's where I've always said about firewood is a commodity. And a commodity, it really what it means is that it doesn't matter who made it. It's like a barrel of oil. It doesn't matter who drilled it out of the ground. It's still worth the same. And a lot of people I think that start throwing rocks at others that are trying to make money selling firewood just see firewood as that, as a commodity. And they don't recognize bundles, because
Yep.
it totally serves a market that commodity type firewood doesn't. Yeah.
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 And just because you've sold firewood for 10 years and never made a dime, don't get on me for making a profit with my bundles. I know the meaning of the word profit.
Yeah. We want to succeed. We want to provide for our families and be a successful company. But man, then there's pressure on you from your own industry to not be successful.
Yeah.
You're better if you sit and complain in a Facebook group that uh, you're charging too much, even
Yeah.
though a customer, not just one customer, but a lot of customers are willing to spend that. I think by definition, you're not charging too much.
No.
Yeah.
I think this is a side effect of the firewood industry mostly being men working alone. They never have anyone else there, so when they see these groups, like, they're just angry, bitter men that are like, if somebody else is doing it better, they're the bad guy.
Uh-huh. I don't know, Dan. I spend a lot of time by myself, but I don't know. I try to stay kind of positive.
Yeah, positive and at least grounded one foot in reality. I mean, that helps too, you know.
Yeah. One foot in reality and the other one on a banana peel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but it is, and we've mentioned this before as well. It's just amazing when you start seeing, you would think, like, if you go on Facebook and you find this group called, like, Firewood Sellers of the World,
Uh-huh.
immediately in my mind, I'm thinking there's a guy with a black and red flannel and an axe over his shoulder, a big beard, and he's a big, muscular, burly man. That's like the mascot of this group. And all it is a bunch of guys who complain and are so hurt with their feelings over some little comment that it's comical.
I remember you brought that up one day, and I was thinking on that, and I was like, Dan, I think you're right. There is a level of delicate feelings and of these grizzled lumberjacks, and
Yeah,
it's just funny to hear people get all upset over something silly.
right. It's like you see this guy, his profile picture. You imagine this guy could, like, pick up a big round of oak and just split it with one swing of a maul, and then
Yeah.
you say something about whatever, and he's immediately just coming back, keyboard warrior, full on hurt feelings, sensitive. Just, I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Are you in these user groups a lot? I mean, are you reading them? Or I don't I'm not on Facebook a lot. I have started posting reels to my Facebook page. But I occasionally stumble into them, and
Yeah,
I usually wind up shaking my head and then I leave.
I I am in a I don't know how many I'm in. I'm in a lot of them. I do usually, I don't know, not very often, I'll peruse through my feed and then I'll see, like, the posts, that are current from that group, but yeah, I don't spend a lot of time dealing with them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious. Um, I'm gonna start looking at these more, but it might have just been this one thread, but I think if you go through them all, that there's probably a lot of these kind of comments on them.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah. I would recommend that if you're thinking of starting a business, that maybe you don't ask ask the internet their opinion.
And
Ask me. Ask me, and I'll tell you to get started.
yeah, and that's the thing, is it should be a place where, you just come and you share things, you share thoughts, ideas, have conversations about stuff, but no, it always turns into, and then the best is, like, not only the responses to whatever the question was asked, but then you'll get, like, shoot off little conversations and back and forth between people, off of their comment, and then that leads down a whole road of, this guy is a crook for that, and I could outsplit you any day of the week, and my logs are bigger than
Yeah.
your logs, and oh, my stack is nicer than yours, and
I just see a difference in like the culture of the YouTube channel and the firewood community, and then on Facebook. It seems like Facebook, um, my videos get a larger audience. YouTube, I think it kind of sticks to people with with firewood interest. Facebook, you get a lot of comments from people that don't have a clue what's going on. And I get a lot of rude, uh, invalid, silly, moronic comments on Facebook. But I'm also more active. I'll get an occasional one on YouTube, but I'll delete it. If it's got cussing or
Yeah.
just or inappropriate stuff on there. Facebook, I gave up on that after a while because it's just, I don't know. Like YouTube seems to back you as a content creator. If someone's causing you trouble, YouTube will stand behind you. They'll get
Yep.
rid of them. Facebook, I've referred some very inappropriate people to Facebook, and it's all done with artificial intelligence, I'm assuming, and they'll say, that this does not violate Facebook's
Nope.
standards.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know, but there is a different culture. But man, some of the comments that you get on Facebook, and that's where I don't know if it's kind of like the Wild West more, but that's where like these user groups are. And they're, whoo boy.
Yep. Watch
Yeah.
out.
I guess depending on what you're trying to get out of it, it could be the wrong place to be.
Well, see, that's just it. Is like having the heel nature that I have. I purposely post things to try to get people upset at me and
Do you?
trigger them.
I believe it. I believe it. You kind of like doing that kind of stuff. I had my 22-year corporate career. I had a very confrontational position. And I had learned over the years that I started avoiding confrontation like the plague. you know, it just wears you down after a while. And now I
Yeah,
just go on about my business. If someone says something I disagree with, I just agree with it to them and then I leave.
I avoided it as well, but only after I started. I start it and then I'm out.
Yeah, I have probably, I think this month I left one comment that was kind of salty that impressed me, and that's very few and far between. I have posted comments of my own and taken them down, or I've typed them out and then deleted them and never posted them. Yeah, but for the most part, I've tried to remain professional, but um, and that's why I think even if I were active in these user groups, I don't know if I don't know. It's just you're a I think you're a legitimate, heartfelt, honest, and respectful, polite would probably not be embraced.
Right. Well, there'd always be some, if you really wanted to like reach out and give someone a response, I think the best thing to do would be like direct message them and then give them your thoughts, but just then leave it away from everyone else to then tag on, behind it.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of direct uh, mail. What are they called? Instant messages on Facebook,
Yep,
but they're all from
DMs.
like, yeah, but they're all from like Oman, and they're asking for 64,000 US dollars. Those kind of posts.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of messages with people that want to come and work for me from like overseas and like want me to bring them in on a green card to split wood. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I had a guy ask. He was from like Azerbaijan. He asked if he could come work for me, and I was like, "Nah, the boss is a jerk. He wouldn't want to work at this place."
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. All right. Well, now that we know not to pay any attention to social media,
Yeah,
as far as, well, I don't know. Like I said, there is some good information out there. I've always, you just got to you just got to understand what you're getting into if you are part of these groups and if you're posting and
uh-huh.
yeah. So it's fun, but I don't know. Some people out there sure have a way with their words.
Yeah. Like my guy that I watch on YouTube. Boy, is he good. But he's going to put that actual alternator on the engine.
Yeah, and you need to find out what actual part is
Actual.
causing your actual check engine light to actually
Yeah.
come on.
It actually is on too. Yeah, I don't know. I laugh at these. We need to do an episode on that one day about verbal tics. You've highlighted, because I had told you before that I have this thing with the word basically. I just think it is the most worthless word in the history of the English language, and it gets used all the time, and it just doesn't even need to be ever said. And I was starting to get all these posts from this anonymous poster who was saying basically, and here it was you. And then you had said the one that you had always noticed is people on YouTube, they'll say, as you can see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always used on YouTube. They'll say, as you can see, basically, the actual alternator. Yeah, another word like these automotive ones, they use this. I never heard of this word before. I hear a lot of people use it all the time. It's fitment. Fitment, is that even a word? They talk about the fitment of the part.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. I don't like that word. It's right up there with niche.
Basically,
Fitment.
it's
Basically, it's the actual word of fitment is basically, as you can see.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I don't even know what we talked about today. We were wanting to talk about these Facebook groups because they're just kind of they're funny and sad all at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have an episode where we just go through one and read posts and replies.
And give our impressions of the comments.
Yes. You know, like if somebody says, like, do you think I should, get this load of logs delivered to me? And we could reply with, are you really that insecure about your logs that you don't think they'll be good enough to come into your yard?
What are you going to do when you can't get your saw started?
Yes.
What are you going to do when it gets too wet? What are you going to do if you sprain your ankle?
What are you going to do with all the sawdust from bucking them up? Come on, think about it. You don't need logs.
Yeah. I have a video of my outdoor wood furnace, and this one guy left a comment. He says, what are you going to do when you're in your 70s and you can't handle firewood anymore? It's like, well, what the? That just makes no sense. I'll go in and I'll turn on my gas furnace. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
You could say that for anything, but your bedroom's upstairs. What are you going to do when you can't walk upstairs anymore?
Yep. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I'll move my bedroom downstairs. Come on.
Stop sleeping.
How could you do that as a firewood professional? That's all I do.
Sleep? I know.
Yeah.
Isn't it time for your nap here pretty quick?
No. No time for sleeping this time of year. My phone's ringing off the hook.
Yeah, you got to go get that truck fixed.
Oh, God. Yeah. All right, Dan, let's strike up the band, and let's thank everyone for tuning in to the Woodhounds podcast. We are the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
Yes, and I'm going to go post in some social media user groups about that and see what responses we get.
And I'm going to reply that you hurt my feelings.
But no, we want to thank everybody for tuning in each and every week right here on your favorite podcasting platform, 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, Eastern, 5 a.m. Eastern, which now is a little lighter outside because we ended daylight savings.
That's right. All right, Dan, so I want to tell everyone to be
safe
and stay
cool
and have an actual
great day.